Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back. This is episode number 21. We're in the 20s now. Can't believe it. Been a little bit slow lately. Had some hangups last week. Some people canceled. So trying to get back in the flow of things. And a little bit of news about the Clout today. So no guest. Just going to talk about some of the goings on in the Clout world for the past couple of weeks. I try to do this about every week or so, but things just kind of got too far ahead of me. You know how that goes. We had a lot of stuff happen in Clout land, and we'll try to run through a little bit of discussion about each one of those things. So from the dev team, thing that's really turned everybody on and got them thinking and scratching their heads trying to figure out what's going on, or what how it can be used, and that is diamonds. That's not even something we were talking about 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden you could send a diamond to someone. And so looking at the BitClout.com, I'm going to pull that up here. I'm working several computers at once trying to figure out what I'm doing. So looking at what Diamond Hands had to say, well, actually, I'm looking at, I'm going to go back a little bit. They came out and said you can send a diamond to show that you like somebody, like their post. You can click it once. It's I'm going to get these numbers wrong. It's like 1/8 of a penny or something. And if you click it twice, it's like 8 cents. If you click it 3 times, it's like $8. If you click it 4 times, it's like $800. Something way crazy like that. And if you get click crazy, you're going to lose some of your coins. Lose a lot of your coins, but you can really transfer some funds quickly to someone else and show them how much you love them, and that goes right into their wallet. And it comes out of your own creator coin. So it's small increments. Probably anyone who's put money in your coin might not notice, but nevertheless, what it does mean is it also, let's say that you click on a diamond, it's like tipping someone, or it's like, how should I put it? It's like a like in Facebook, or maybe in Twitter. It's something that really validates a piece of content. But this way, it's actually transferring real funds and can add up. I suppose if you're someone who could get 1 million likes on something, you'd see a little bit of funds showing up for that. The person who sends it, then, if they like something, if it's like, say they're making a comment and they send a diamond, then their comment can go higher in the feed. So it's a little bit like pay to play, I guess. I mean, there's so many ways to look at this. And as some people know by now, a lot of discussion about BitClout happens in Clubhouse. And so, which is kind of cool, because unlike other social media platforms, you don't see people operating in one platform and talking about it in another. But that's really what happens with Clubhouse a lot. And I think they're supposed to deliver their Android version of that app soon. So that should give more people in this world an opportunity to join Clubhouse and join the discussion. So lots of discussion, lots of, very animated discussion about how to use likes. Some people are like, I'm going to use them generously, and I just click away, or not likes, diamonds. And others are like, well, I'm really judicious about it. I'm going to only give it to some people that I really, really know, or I really want to support. And so there's the whole spectrum of beliefs about how diamonds will be used. And so I'm pretty excited to see how it works, because I just sort of feel like it's one way people use to get attention. And what I mean by that is, if you send some diamonds to someone, maybe they don't even know who you are, but with that just minuscule amount of money that you're having to expend, you could get on their radar. So it's something to think about. And I feel like that it's possibly going to be more, how should I put it, apparent to the person that normally if you liked something that they did on another platform, then maybe it goes unnoticed. But this way it might be noticed, and then it could mean they like you back, so to speak. And it's sort of like a virtuous cycle, in my opinion. And so it could really elicit a lot of engagement. Personally, this kind of came along at a time when I, quite frankly, have not been on the platform as much as I normally might have been. And so I've not been able to really take advantage of it like I would like to, but I fully intend to start using it more. And so that's just, that's the diamond sort of part of this equation. One more thing the devs have just rolled out overnight on us. So you can send them and you receive them. And then people were confused about, well, where, basically it was hard for people to tell where that went. So they really clarified it with a new version of the wallet that literally just came out, I think today or yesterday, where it's sort of has a tab to show you the coins that you've purchased that are in your wallet, and then the coins that you've received as diamonds. And I think even as creator coins, when someone sends you creator coin, their own creator coin, which by the way, that's another thing that I don't think I've talked about much or even in a news version of this show, but you can send your own creator coin to someone. So that's different than what it was prior, where you had to liquidate your coin or really sell it back into BitClout, then transfer that BitClout to someone if you wanted to send them something. So that brings a whole new dynamic to things. And so with trying to keep track of these things and how you got your coins in your wallet, now they have the wallet split up into sort of two tabs: the coins that you've purchased and then the coins that you've received. So that's pretty cool, to keep it straight. And I hope it's just one more sort of step in the right direction. I think everyone on this platform, especially people who have some sense of how do you account for what's going on? How do you account for it so that you know what you've spent and maybe have some idea of what's the relative, what's the word I'm looking for? Increase or decrease in value. So that's something that people want to know. So in this case, I just really want them to start doing more of this accounting, to just put it frankly. I want to be able to see what I've spent, when I spent it, what the relative value is. Is it, I think it's just prudent. And so I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, we're going to see that pretty soon. Now, what's next on the list? I've got kind of a little list of things. It's about all the research I could do. I just try to make a note of things as they come out and talk about what I think of them or what I've witnessed. Creators can now get their founder's reward. That's the part of when someone invests or buys your coin, you can set your founder's reward percentage. Used to default at 10%. Now it's 100%. Now you can get that in BitClout. So basically you will get it in BitClout. So if you set your creator coin founder's reward at 10% and someone comes along and spends $1,000, you're going to get a $100 worth of BitClout in your wallet, instead of you getting a portion of your founder's reward in your own coin. Now you could choose to take that and purchase some of your own coin, or you could use it to do whatever you want with it, invest in someone else's coin. And so that opens up a whole bunch of possibilities. And I think probably the best part of that is I've just listened to countless discussions in Clubhouse rooms where some people think that if you're going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Liquidate. If you're going to liquidate your holdings in your own coin, because maybe you want to take those funds to use to pay somebody who's done some work for you to, create content, or help you with your creation of your content. So if you're running a business creating content, you have to be able to have funds apportioned for that. And just some people, I think, that just don't have a sense of how businesses work, think, well, it's an affront if you take and sell some of your creator coin. Well, I've never understood that. And quite frankly, it's made me wonder, well, why would I even do this? Why do I want to be on a platform where I want to build value in my, uh, whatever you call it, company, entity, profile, account? Why would I want to even do it if it's frowned upon just to take some of that money home? It's like running a business and your shareholders saying, well, you shouldn't be taking money home to, use that money, to eat. So literally people have been acting as if you want to take some of that money that's your creator coin, some of the creator coin, that your own creator coin that you've purchased, that you are supposed to alert all of your coin holders that you're going to do that, which I don't think you have to do that. There's lots of people who don't agree with me, and that's fine. But I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? Because then you're going to all liquidate. And I've wasted all my time. I've completely built value in something that I want to leverage to grow more. But if I am going to say, well, hey guys, I'm thinking of maybe selling some of my coin, what's the first thing a savvy investor is going to do? They're going to go, well, I'm going to sell. Now that you've warned me, I'm going to sell. Now you're going to have to sell more of your coin to liquidate for the amount of money you're trying to obtain. So I think it's just, we're at a nexus of creators and speculators, and coming at this with, extremely different points of view. But I do think that more and more as time has gone by in this really brand new experiment, more and more people are having to sort of learn about what that means as far as how to, how these things really work kind of in the real world. So, because people were like literally, contacting a former coin holder to ask them why they liquidated their coin. And so hopefully we're going to see now, because of the ability to get your founder's reward in BitClout, you can use it however you want. And we'll kind of dispense with this. And I've heard lots of discussion from people saying that that's kind of how it was designed. So, anyway, I could go on and on about that. So, looking at what Diamond Hands has said about the separating the wallets part of things, as I'm looking at their website, the two key changes: wallet is now separated, into coins you've purchased and coins you've received. You will only show up on someone's profile as a holder if you've actually purchased their coin. Transfers don't count unless you've bought them at least once. Why? Because buying someone's coin sends a message. I think, so the message is, I think this person is awesome. And in contrast, receiving someone's coin signals they think you're awesome. These are different things, they say. Thus, you have two tabs in your wallet, one for the coins you've painstakingly curated, the people who you've chosen to put your hard-earned BitClout to work on, your garden, and another tab for gifts and tips from your loyal supporters. And they say, on behalf of all the devs, thank you for your feedback. We continue to listen aggressively and relentlessly integrate all of the community's best ideas into the product. So, yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. I think there are some other things that people may want to, argue that point with. One of those might be, why is it so hard to get validated on this platform? Because, I've always looked at like Twitter validating an account as hey, we're going to make sure this is the person that that is being represented here, and we're going to use various sources to figure that out. And because we don't want to have imposters or bots, for instance. But I look at it and go, well, wait a minute. Let's look at my podcast. I've done 20 episodes I've released. It's on YouTube. You can see my face when I'm talking to real people who are also real users of this platform. people that I have to interact with just to get them to agree to be on this podcast. And, I'll emphasize that I've interviewed face to face a person who is in the Genesis block, whose company is one of the major investors in this entire platform. And I'm one of many people that are doing projects that are completely dedicated to the platform, that have been highly engaged in the community, have been spending time, hours and hours in clubhouse rooms, moderating, teaching, learning, discussing, supporting the platform and defending the platform, but you don't validate these people. And so, yeah, I think that there's a problem there. So maybe if anybody from the dev team's listening, it's like, there's got to be some other criteria here, especially for people that have started with this thing early on and are now highly engaged and have spent lots of their own money and time and energy to help this. So, I mean, you could probably just, hire somebody, BitClout group, devs, hire somebody, have them spend some time in some of these clubhouse rooms, which you probably do anyway, and you'll start identifying who's legit, who's really a person who's really active and supporting this. Those are people that should be verified instead of influencers outside of this platform that really, at this point in time, have no intention of being a part of it. So something to consider. And, and I think we're at this stage where, we're, couple of months into this program, starting, it's, as I said, it was hastily launched. I was, halfway, that's half true. I mean, this is a well thought out program, platform and with sharper minds than I'll ever be. But, it's a beta and people are thinking about this a lot, and learning and making mistakes and arguing and, and collaborating. And now we're starting to find out where are the chinks in the armor. And, we're hearing a lot from people who are highly engaged in trying to onboard influencers, major stars that are like, yeah, this looks interesting, but I have problems with this. One of those seems to be why is it that people that they don't know already own their coin? So I don't know if I care. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Seems to me that you as an influencer, if you had a certain amount of followers on Twitter, that you have money waiting for you and sometimes large sums of it. So, I guess I thought in the early stages of this, they would jump all over that, but it seems to be important to them that their family and friends get first crack at it. Well, in a way they do if you give them some of that, because you had first crack at it. You got your coins set aside at a pretty high level and worth a lot of money, and other people, looking at your clout on other platforms and and speculating that when you join, you're going to be a very active member of the community and generating great content, and your value is going to go up. So therefore, these coins that were waiting for you are going to go up in price. So I guess my point of view is, if you're that worried about it, then give some of this massive amount of creator coin that's already sitting here waiting for you. Give that to your friends. Your friends, when they join the platform, now you can send creator coins yourself. Send them some of your creator coin. Now they've got creator coin. They didn't have to pay for it. It's creator coin you got for nothing. And it's early stage creator coin. So win-win, right? So I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of riffing here, but it does, and maybe kind of thinking it through as I'm saying it, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. All right. So maybe this is less news and more opinion, but sorry, folks. Now, and I probably need somebody else to come on here and talk to me about this and just him and haw a little bit with each other, but it's just me this time. So let's see what else. I think I've kind of gone through a lot of the latest developments that the dev team have unloaded on us. And don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with how this is going. And I think probably some of this was very highly needed um, functions. So I'm really excited to start digging in and playing with some of it a little more and seeing how that changes people's strategies. And, because especially with the ability to get your founder's reward in BitClout, I think can change people's strategies a lot. And I almost want to create some strategies, just sort of a list, like from A to Z of you can take a one type of strategy where you have, you want to um, grow your clout and spend it on other accounts and invest, or you want to grow it and never do anything, and you want to um, do a middle of the road. I mean, there's these sort of, I think you could probably boil it down to 10 different scenarios that are strategies people might want to consider. So I feel like maybe I'll play around with that and see if there's some strategies and what is the math on that. Because I think that's sort of what people are scratching their heads over too, is the math on how things work, if you do things a certain way. So, man, I'd love to talk to somebody with a real brain for that sort of thing and sort of let's lay it out on paper in a way that people can think through the math on what happens when you do a certain thing. So anyway, what else has gone on? We had HypedTickets. We had Sir Rhett on the last episode talking about HypedTickets. So I don't really need to talk a lot about that, but it is newsworthy to say that probably right about now, as I'm recording this, is the first, I'm going to pull it up on the screen here, the first BitClout concert, Mercury, Yellow Red Sparks, and Cronus Project. Join us for the first ever BitClout ticketed concert, Monday, May 10th, 2021. So that's pretty cool. I'm hopefully going to wrap this up and watch that if I get a chance, but we'll see if the family will give me a little time to do it, but I doubt it. But best of luck to the HypedTickets crew. And, I'm really excited about that platform. I just think there's a lot of things that can be done. I think as Rhett and I spoke about it, I started thinking about, maybe it's not just concerts and in conferences, but maybe it's, some people do the webinars a lot on the web, and that's a big money maker. And this could represent ways people could monetize for their webinar. So, man, it's awesome to see these sort of tools put out there. It's a blockchain with data that gets put out there, and people start forming it into different tools and projects and ways people can use it. And I think collectively, it's a very creative community of builders and developers and creators. So I think it's awesome. All right. Oh, TikTok. I forgot to talk about that. TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Kind of, I've probably I've definitely bought into the whole connection to the Chinese government, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. So I've avoided it. One of my children, who's old enough to be on TikTok, loves it. And I mean, adult, so they can make their own decisions. So, and as an owner of an ad agency, I know that I probably need to start paying more attention to TikTok for my clients, but so far none of my clients have wanted to go there either. But it's a huge platform. And I think we've all talked about how, is this BitClout going to be the Twitter killer? Is it going to be really put a dent in that thing? But maybe we've been thinking about it wrong. Maybe it's the TikTok influencers that are going to be the first, mass adopters as a group. We hear, I hear people on Clubhouse a lot. They come in and say, I generated a literal ton of followers on TikTok within a matter of months, and I was not even an influencer on other platforms. But I don't know what to do with it. I don't even know why I'm doing it after a while, because I really get nothing for it. And so they look at BitClout and go, well, wait a minute, I can maybe do something with this. So that's going to be cool to see what people do. Maybe even put out sort of a challenge for people to do TikTok videos, because now you can embed TikTok videos into the platform. And it's going to be cool to see how that's used, where maybe TikTok people, whatever they're called, TikTokers, make viral videos, but then also show them on BitClout. And, somehow these influencers are going to have to start making, if they want to be on BitClout, they're going to want their followers to be over in BitClout. So they're going to need to start doing things exclusively on BitClout. But this is a great bridge, I think. So really am excited to see where this is going to lead. So what's next? Cloutfeed. Cloutfeed, man, that came out. That's an app that was kind of on the horizon early on, like seemed like about a month ago. And I was like, wow, this is cool, but they want your private keys. And I'm telling you, folks, don't put your private keys in anything right now. Now, I've read, and I think I've talked about some an independent audit that was done by a well-respected auditor, I guess we'll call him, software expert, and they, made some points that were, they spoke highly of the dev team for Cloutfeed and about security, and that the consensus that the conclusion that was that this auditor came to was that the app Cloutfeed was going to have no more real access to the private keys than the BitClout people have. So there's something about technologically how this is shrouded information, and I don't know. Nevertheless, as they've developed and released this app, there is a way you can use it without putting your private keys, your seed phrase, into the app. You can just put your public key, and it gives you some access to it. So I did that today, and I think that's pretty cool. And one of the reasons I did it was that I was turned on by Rochelle, another podcaster on the platform, and she noted that you can, here, I'm going to pull it up while I'm talking about it, because I literally did this afternoon, and I really wanted to, because there's some metrics in it that aren't available on BitClout.com, and I think it's pretty cool. So it's worth looking into. So it has a little more of a Twitter feel, in the app, which I think could be cool. If I look at the button in the bottom right corner, I'm looking at the BitClout podcast account, and it'll show me the posts that we've done, and they actually look good. They look better graphically than what it looks like on the platform, in my opinion. But I can look at my posts, and I can see my follower count, how many I'm following, my coin price. Looks great. Creator coin, I can look at that. It's got the same sort of info there. Diamonds, I can see how many, who has sent me diamonds and how many. But there's another metric that I was told about, and where is that sucker? Now I gotta find it again. I see a button at the top right corner, says 10%. I don't know what that means. I gotta find out more. But let's see. There's a little bell button. Notifications are I'm in read only mode, so I can't get those. Looks like it's the same for messages. Man, I was looking at this earlier, and it showed me a percentage of, I guess it's kind of like a clout rating. Like, it basically was showing me how active I am, and I think it wasn't like 65%. I want to say it was a clout rating, and now I can't find it. Maybe there's been an update since I looked at it, but it literally kind of gives you a score about your engagement. So I think that's pretty cool. Now I'm disappointed, but I'll tell you what, I saw it. She talked about it, said it was great, and I literally saw it, and I thought, man, that's pretty cool. So I've got to learn more. So You know, this could be a signal of what's to come with this sort of thing. So, uh, I'm reluctant to give my seed phrase to get the full version, and I'm happy to let others be the canary in the coal mine. Like Rhett, who was on my last podcast, he offered up to be that, so he's fully engaged and is on that app and loves it, but I'm still not there yet. Something about BitClout identity that I don't understand is being used. And so look forward to talking about that more. And who knows, there could be 18 other apps out before we know it. That's the cool thing about nodes is anybody can develop something with that node and turn it into something. So looking forward to seeing what happens there. Um, think of all right, I'm going to talk about Mario Narwhal. If you've been on this platform, you've probably seen his account because he's probably contacted you. He's become very controversial, and I don't know how I feel. I don't feel good about him right now, but I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt, and I think others are. And I've literally been in clubhouse rooms where the whole discussion is about him and his team, and I think he created a lot of confusion. He's self-professed growth hacker, and he's all about driving his coin price up through the roof, trying to become like an investment vehicle on the platform, trying to do deals like he's a VC. Um, I'm not characterizing these entirely accurately, so I'm willing to grant some, um, how should I put it, some latitude to him. And maybe I need to try to find out more, but you almost have to have been involved or been on Clubhouse at the right time to find out. And I've literally, a couple of nights gone to sleep when people have started rooms to trying to discuss what's going on, and I fall asleep, and it's like, boy, this is a lot to keep up with. And he comes in, and they have discussions. And granted, I think it seems like a lot of very well conducted discussions, not a shout fest. It's like people trying to grant some respect to each other. So I think even as a community, there's not been a wholesale, he's a scammer and we need to discard what he's doing. I think there's kind of a middle of the road that's being just, trying to be found and saying, maybe he's not doing things right, but maybe he's trying to help the platform as much as we are. He's got a different point of view. I do wonder if maybe he's young and over exuberant and maybe doing things that are going to run afoul of the regulators, and basically doing things that you really need to do if you're literally saying I'm taking an investment and we're going to perform X, you might get yourself in trouble. And then there are some young, very talented developers on this platform, one of which I've had on the platform named Sigil, who's put out the BitSwap platform, sort of an on-ramp, off-ramp to Ethereum. Brilliant kid. And Michael Ye, who I think I'll have on here soon, maybe this week, another 17-year-old friend of Sigel's who reached out to me 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about that he had, had a little bit of seed money invested in him and he was going to create BitClout IQ. And 2 weeks later, it was launched. And so these kids are on the move, but I think there was some involvement with Mario sort of attaching his name to their projects and saying that he was going to help them through an incubator of some sort, or accelerator program. And I think basically that was exposed that maybe these kids were not as on board with him as he was leading people to believe. So, I don't really know where that's leading, but I think he might want to be more careful about that. So, but just I bring that up to say he's been the subject of a lot of conversation in the community, and it's going to be a case where I think the community is very concerned that he could do things that might create a huge issue that makes a bad reputation for the community or the platform, because the press is, I'm certain, very ready to pounce on this platform and destroy it. Um, maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't imagine they're not. So, um, yeah, that could be damaging. But at the same time, I think people are willing to say maybe he's actually got some, he's a cut from a different cloth. He's about, driving value quickly and growth hacking, and has a different point of view than a creator maybe trying to sell NFTs. Everybody has their own agendas. So we're going to find out. But I think there are concerns. And I was asked earlier today if I would have him on a podcast, not by his team, but I think someone who had spoken with him asked me if I would consider it. And I would consider it. But part of my problem is I don't know enough. And I almost feel like I would need to have a co host on that one, but I'd have to pick judiciously. I don't want to shout fest. I want, everyone to keep their cool and have a good discussion. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we won't. I want to keep analyzing the situation and learning what I can. So yeah, I'll bring him up as part of the news because he's been a big part of the news on this platform and created a lot of stir. So anyway, yeah, you know what? I'm doing this whole, what should we call it? I'm calling it about the clout. Maybe I'll call it something else later. But that's what I'm talking about is about BitClout. Partially, I want to have a record of what's happened when. And I talk about Clubhouse a lot because that's where the community is. But most of the world isn't on Clubhouse. And most of the world can't even be on Clubhouse because it's an iOS app. So hopefully for the benefit of those of you around the world who don't have that app yet, even though I think it's coming out this week, or some people are beta testing it already for Clubhouse, then, maybe there'll be less need to have news about the clout. But for now, that's what you got. And with that being said, well, let's go just for the purpose of posterity. We'll take a look at CloutGate, which I've been known to review occasionally. Here we are, May 10th, 2021, 181 million USD locked in the platform. It's a good chunk of change. That's pushing $250 million. So total creators to date, 243,000, close to 244,000, of which 1,643 are verified creators. And when I look at the details of that, it's a steady up and to the right. There's nothing exponential about it as far as the cumulative amount. Daily creators growth chart, as I look at that, it's up and down, and there was a pretty significant downward trend in the past week, but I think it's sort of showing some volatility in a way. In other words, it's not consistent. We had a day last week with only 1,600 or so new accounts, but then yesterday it was over 4,000. So we've had as many as close to 10,000 or 9,000 in a day. So I don't know. We're, I'd never heard of Clubhouse till a couple of months ago, and it was a year old. And so I think we've got a year ahead of us, or so, roughly 6 months to a year, where we're going to be like standing in a big empty shopping mall waiting for the customers to arrive before the doors open. It's kind of the feeling that it is. So as time goes by, I think we're either going to see this thing tank, or we're going to start seeing, like Bitcoin, where it starts to take off, and then it's to the moon for a while. And yeah, pretty interesting to watch. So hopefully this has been interesting for you to sit and listen to, or whatever you're doing, walking your dog, riding your unicycle, shaving your legs. I don't know. But something to do, something to listen to while you're doing something else, I guess, right? And hopefully learn a little bit. So hopefully enjoyed it, and hit me up at info@BitClout Podcast if you got some ideas. You can also DM us on the platform at BitClout Podcast, and we'll try to respond. But Love it if you could leave us a review on any of the any platforms you may be listening to this on, or if you're on YouTube, because I'm streaming this live. It's not much to watch. I'm sharing a little bit of screen real estate with you, but it's just more about listening. So, with that in mind, if you're on YouTube, you're welcome to leave comments on this live stream. And man, I had somebody today leave like 18 comments on a video for a podcast that I did, man, early on, like the second podcast, and they were ranting about one of the guests. And I don't know. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but this guy was going on and on about what the guest said about Bitcoin, and that there was no off ramp for Bitcoin, and and this was a big lie. And I'm like, well, think what you want, but maybe you should actually understand that we're talking about BitClout here, buddy. So maybe I should have been nicer, but after a while, I'm like, hey, if you want to get on to me, why don't you pay attention to what you're listening to? It's a BitClout podcast, y'all. All right. With that, I'll leave you to it. Hopefully have a couple of great guests lined up for this week. I know I got one fun one for my next episode, which is Lauren Aparicio, who's the founder and producer of Clout Factor, which is an awesome sort of game show. Like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say Fear Factor, but more like The Voice or American Idol or whatever, gives creators a forum in front of the sharks, so to speak. So a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to talking to her. She's an actress, comedian, as she puts it, multi-hyphenate. All right, guys. Hope you have fun.